Okay, ready.
It does.
So what is that? Do those things exist in South Today we're going to be speaking about the life of a seeker. So why did we choose it? Why would you choose it? What's
what
it about?
is it? Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Come enjoy the life, baby, take a ride. I just wanna find you.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Within. I'm Sihle Mkhize.
And I'm Denise Steinbank, and we are on episode 2.
Thanks so much for joining us again.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be speaking about the life of a seeker. So why did we choose it? Why would you choose it? What's
what
it about?
is it? Yeah.
So first things first, obviously, what is a seeker? What does the life of a seeker consist of? Because that sounds a little bit
It does.
So what is that? Do those things exist in South
So being a seeker is someone who is engaging. So you're constantly engaging with your environment in a way that seeks to know and get to the depth and the meaning of every interaction. So with every person that you interact with every situation, you are constantly in a state of meditating on things and going back into yourself and to look at it sort of like from an outsider, as an outsider looking in. But it's also asking yourself the relevant and important questions in each and every moment. Now, of course, nobody's like that. Nobody is constantly seeking meaning and depth, and not every situation that you're in will have depth or meaning, but it just means that in every important situation, or in every other situation or context that you find yourself in, that you're asking yourself questions like, what is this trying to teach me in this moment? What can I learn from this? What are my triggers here? Why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? Why am I responding the way that I'm responding to the situation? And sometimes it's not just your feelings, but sometimes it's your body. You know, you feel it in your body. You either feel uncomfortable physically, or so your body can give you a whole lot of signs as to what's going on in your environment, even before you know what's going on. And so it's to look at those things and all the elements that are involved and to bring them together. So it's actually just contextualizing and a whole lot of just looking at things through a very deep perspective.
I like that. So you're looking for the depth in a situation, and not just looking at a shallow kind of surface level of what's going on in your life.
So it's not just being curious about why people are doing things, it's to be compassionate. And the compassion is both ways. So you're compassionate to yourself, and you're also compassionate to others. And I'll give a short example. It's like when you're nervous to speak, you know, there's so much going on in your head. And before you speak, you've already talked yourself into it or out of it. So but the compassion needs to be there. When you're a seeker, your self-talk and the dialogue that's in your head is compassionate. And so you're like, you can do this. You are equipped with whatever, and they asked you to speak, and whether they've asked you to speak or not, wherever you are in that space, you're equipped and you have the skills and the knowledge and everything. You got the things to do the things.
Basically.
Within.
You're within.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. So that's that compassionate curiosity, which is a little bit different from just being curious, you know, towards people. And you extend it to yourself and you extend it to others.
So you're always asking questions,
but
also how you ask the questions.
Absolutely.
That's where the compassion comes in. Yeah.
Okay, so are there any downfalls or nje ziyawa kumnandi, everything?
The one downfall really for me is you can't stay mad at people, and sometimes I want to. You know, I remember speaking to my therapist once, and a family member had done something that really inconvenienced me, and I said to her, I keep waiting for the rage to come, and the rage isn't coming. And she said, that's how you know you're doing the work.
Yeah.
Like that's why we do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I kind of want to tell them. Because I don't think they're going to understand. But actually, that situation worked out beautifully. And usually, you know, your anger towards someone, it doesn't help the situation along. There's a verse in the Bible that says, the anger of men does not produce the righteousness of God, or something like that. Yeah. But us being angry at people, us telling people what they did wrong is usually not helpful. They know what they did wrong. Yeah. So anyway, when you're a seeker, it's really hard to be self-righteous. It's hard to look at the situation as black and white. Yeah. It, like you said, it adds color, it adds depth to the picture that you're looking at. So when you need to walk away from someone, for example, you can't be like, I'm canceling her because she's toxic and I can't stand her. You literally have to acknowledge that I actually really loved having her around. Yeah. I actually would prefer it if she valued our relationship enough to do the things that would allow her to stay in my life. But she can't do that right now. Yeah. And I decide that I won't keep her around, that I need more than this. And that's why I'm walking away. And it's harder to walk away when you're not just like, she's toxic, but, you know, but when the process is complete, there's so much peace. Yeah. There's so much peace. And when you see that person again, it's still all love. Yeah. And there's an opportunity of, if they have grown, if they're different, you guys can actually, you know, try again.
And there's also the other side of it, which is if you've grown. Like I think that's the hard part. That's the hard part that we actually also have to acknowledge. And as a person who's a seeker, you have to look at what was it. I mean, I find it really difficult, even myself, to look at when a relationship or a friendship or whatever it is ends, to look at how I contributed, because you definitely contributed, and what was it in me that needs to grow. And so maybe in season 5 of your life or season 700, you know, they'll come back, and maybe you both would have grown, and they could be really, really instrumental in your own growth, and they could be a very pivotal and a very good person who's like, you know, a person that you go to for advice or whatever it is. But in that moment, it's when you're a seeker, you can't just be like cancelled. But instead you have to look at not just what they did and look for them to, I'll see you when you're grown. You have to also be like, what do I need to do to grow so that I don't repeat this in my next relationships. Sure. So yeah, it's that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And also, like, and I read this quote this week. Somebody said that may growth always be the goal, and may healing be the fruit or the result, or something like that. And I think being a seeker is all about growth, and growth is not always fun, you know. Growth takes discipline. Yeah. You can't always do what you feel like doing when you're a seeker, because now you're seeking God's will for your life. You are seeking a particular vision for your life. You're seeking to honor yourself, to honor the people around you, to honor the work that you do. And that's not always easy, because sometimes you won't feel like it.
Exactly.
Like, sometimes I want to listen to trap music all day. I know I have to throw in a podcast. I have to throw in the word. I have to, you know, be disciplined.
Yeah. And it's those kind of little things that you can do, and that can really change your life, because what you start putting in is what you'll keep like pushing out. Like that's the stuff that you'll start talking about. So whatever it is that when you're not only seeking things from people, you're also seeking to gain knowledge about yourself, about your perspective, and about human beings as a whole. So it's also just consuming the right stuff, and not just being like, I had a bad day, I need some trap soul whole day. I'm a piano.
The next thing you know, you're texting, hey big head, and
Can't have that.
Yeah, I think we're actually seeking wholeness and wellness. And it's not always easy, but the rewards are tenfold. You become who you really are, and that's when you start to receive what you really want.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better.
Okay, next. What are the benefits of being a seeker?
Oh, I think that with the downfalls, we've spoken a little bit about the benefits. Sure. And that's just that you come at life whole and you're much more calmer. For example, like you don't react to every situation. You choose things, and you also just rather respond. And sometimes responding means waiting before you go with your feelings and go with your guts of what you're feeling right now and in the moment. And so for example, like say your best friend in your head so who you consider to be your best friend starts posting like this long post, those posts that go on and on and on. Like those are my favorite personally. The really long captions. And so this post is like, you are my only friend. Everybody never had my back. You're the only one who cared about me. And that can be hurtful, if you see someone and then they're like, this is my best friend for life, and you're
also, your best friend is posting it about another person.
Yeah, it's like your best friend is like, that's my best friend. And it's just this whole thing.
Awkward.
And it's like on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, when that LinkedIn profile, Facebook, the whole
LinkedIn.
And it's just like, that is my best friend. And maybe even they'll change their bio friend, imagine. And it's just like a bio best friend. That can be hurtful. I mean, if that's who you think that's your best friend. And so a reaction of that would be like, excuse me, I'm gonna read them for filth. And you start texting out of rage and start texting to be hurtful because that's your intention in that moment. The hurt that you feel, you want it to come out of you, and so you want to put it on someone else, and that's what you do. And a seeker can't do that. When you're a seeker of wholeness and you want to respond from a full place, you have to look at, why am I feeling this way, and what is the purpose of me even commenting, reporting the post like this is offensive, dear Instagram.
That's right.
And people can do that, and just to be vengeful and to take out the hurt that you're feeling and to recognize. So when you're a seeker, you have to recognize, where's that hurt coming from? It's your ego. So when your ego is bruised, you feel like it's you. So you feel like you're hurting me personally. By that post, you meant it personally to attack me. So you're feeling personally attacked in this moment, and they didn't even mention you at all, but you feel personally attacked. You feel like you're disregarded, you're unworthy of that person's love, all of the things, the lies that you sort of start to play in your head. And those are the things that you want them to feel. Oh, you're not worthy of my friendship either. And all of those things. And so you start to become vengeful in that all of the bad emotions that you're feeling, you want to pass them on. Like nobody wants that into themselves. So you want to pass on those bad emotions, and you end up, spewing hate and all of the things that you might regret the next day. So instead, the benefits in that, going back to the question, is that you're able to respond from a place of love. And so if you have to get those emotions out, write them on a piece of paper or tell them to someone else that's like not going to, like someone that you trust, like, this is what happened, and someone who can be your sounding board and not make it, oh yeah, girl, they played you, They can be those people. So tell someone that you really trust, that will have your best interest and your just your overall community at heart. So not someone who will also that'll be like, oh, whatever you say, they'll take it at face value, but will give you, insights into that. So if you have to tell someone, tell it to someone, maybe your mom or someone that you trust, who will not perpetuate and make it worse. So you can write it down, you can do all of those things, but get it out, or even just sleep on it. Sometimes all you need is just to sleep.
Nap.
You just need to go into a deep slumber, and the next morning, I promise, you wake up feeling like, actually, you know, it's not as bad as what I thought. And you probably do still feel hurt though. And so you can approach your friend and say, hey, and use I language. That's an important one. So go to your friend and be like, I felt hurt. So it's not that you hurt me. I felt hurt when you said that no one cares about you except for that person. So be specific about what hurt you. Be specific about the emotion that you felt, and just come at it from that level. So now you're calm, and this is a conducive exchange that you can get, and they can explain what it was, and maybe they were aloof to the fact that you're hurt. Maybe they had no idea that you'd be hurt by that. And they'd be like, of course, you're also my best friend. I just say that to everybody. Everybody's my best friend. You know, or it could be that, oh, this is what they've actually done that made me go and write that about them. It could be something really huge. They wanted to show appreciation, and maybe my wording could have been better, and it wouldn't have excluded you. Hopefully you have some healthy friends who cannot retaliate as well, because sometimes our response is not what we anticipate. You know, the response that the other person will give you is not what you anticipate. So there's that. But always respond from a place of being like, whatever happens, I'm not trying to hurt you also. I'm just trying to explain that this is how you made me feel, so that I'm not like suddenly not talking to you, or I'm
sending subliminal WhatsApp statuses.
People, you think people are your friends, can't you? Snake emojis.
When days are dark.
Snake emojis when you are dealing with the snakes everywhere. Instead of subbing people and just going wild, it's always good to just take a step back, take a moment and reflect, and know that also, even if they don't respond the way you want to, you've said your piece, and so you can move from that.
And on that, another benefit that I'm just now thinking of is when you're a seeker, you become healthy. You begin to see yourself in a more realistic way. You see your own flaws. You see your own like the things that you're good at, and you see yourself, and you are able to show up in the world in a healthy way. Then you attract healthy people as well. Because before you become healthy, you will repel people who are healthy. You know. So that's been top 2 things of becoming more aware and more whole, is that I have just attracted the most amazing people in my life. Who champion my growth, who are for me, who are for, like you said, my whole community. So if I come to Denise and say, my other friend did this, she's not going to be like, yeah, girl, I knew, I'm the friend for you. She's going to be like, oh, okay, so what about that triggered you? Okay, so have you spoke, things that are helpful, perspective that's healthy. And that's amazing. Friends who challenge you. To be like, oh, that's an area that I actually still need to grow in. It's
and keep you accountable also. Just keeping you accountable to the things that they know you to be, and speaking into that. Like, oh, I know you to be this person. Because sometimes we can slip back. We can slip back into those bad habits so quickly that you realize it afterwards, like, what did I just do? And so they'll call you and they'll see you as your highest self, and they'll give you sort of advice based on that, should you require it. And that's it. That's the life of a seeker.
Thank you once again for joining us. We hope you had fun with us. We had fun shooting this.
Definitely.
So, like we said, we love seeing your comments. Let us know what you thought. Any more questions that you guys have. And subscribe.
Press that subscribe button. Let's get a notification gang. Yeah, definitely. Okay, thank you guys for watching. We will see you all next time on episode 3.
Bye.